Hey guys, it's Laura. Hey, um, I just thought I'd make a video, and well, I want to make several videos today, but make a video and talk about what my beliefs are, and for those of you who are curious, some of my beliefs have changed, but I thought I'd be open and honest and transparent on my channel to tell you guys how what I believe in, basically. So I am not a Christian. I'm not a Christian. I'm not Christo-pagan. I used to be Christo-pagan for a long time. But I don't really resonate with that too much anymore. I'm not into witchcraft. I've never been too involved in it. I did a return to sender spell and protection spells and stuff like that, but I've never gone really deep into too much of witchcraft. I'm just not into it. Basically, I did my research on it and spent some time with it, and some people like it and some people don't. I personally don't feel like it's right for me personally, so that's why I don't practice it for me personally. But I do know people that do practice it, and I don't hate those people, and I think that they're healers. I think that they're really good people. I don't have a problem with them, but so I think that yeah, it's just not for me. I'd rather pray about stuff and let the universe take care of it, basically, and let God take care of it. The universe, God, whatever you want to call it. I'll get into that, but I believe that there is a positive force out there. There's the force. There's a positive force out there, and there's a negative force out there. You can either tap into either one of them. You can tap into. I am in the gray area, so what that means is that I can tap into both this is how it's been going on for recently for a while. I can tap into both, but I don't have any influence over any of them, basically. So I'm just a person that stuff happens to, basically, and there's really nothing I can do about it. I can't help it. So I'm in the gray area, but I believe that people have the gift of free will, and they have the gift of free will, basically, and you can either go down the positive, the light attribute as force in life, or you can go down the negative force in life. And so I personally lean more towards the positive side of things. I've had my experience with the negative through things that have happened to me and spiritually, and I don't prefer the negative. I prefer the positive. But I can't really judge people who go down the negative road, because this is my view on it. People operate in their purpose, basically. People have free will, so they choose to go down the negative road. They choose to go down the negative side of things. So you can't really fault that person for acting the way they are. They're operating in their purpose, basically. You have to explore how you feel inside and what you align with, basically. So a serial killer, for example, they kill people. You know what I mean? That I hope I don't get flagged in the video, but they unalive people. So they unalive people, a serial, whatever, crime person, you know, they unalive people. So, um, people have free will to change and, um, like, people have free will to, like, change and turn their lives around, basically. But if a part of their free will is to choose to go down the negative route, then they're operating in their purpose, and you can't really fault that person, basically. But with that being said, that there's laws of the land, and I think that there are universal, like, karmic laws that you have to stick to, that God has put into place that you can't mess around with, basically. So I say that with that type of, like, disclaimer, basically. There's laws of the land, and there's karmic laws that you have to, like, basically abide to. But 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 you can't fault that person because they're operating in their purpose, basically. It's just you don't align with it. So your job is to love that person from a distance and, like, like, put out boundaries and emotionally detach, basically. So I believe in karma. I believe in reincarnation. I believe in the afterlife. I believe in heaven and hell. Karma, I think, through experience, through what has happened to me, karma, I definitely believe in karma, and I definitely believe that karma has a way of circling back or coming back to its original source. So, because I know people that put witchcraft on their own karma, and, like they try to outrun it, or, like, get rid of it, or make somebody else pay for their karmic debt or karma that they accumulate. They get somebody else to do that for them. But I truly believe that there are lessons that they personally need to learn in their life, and nobody else can learn those lessons for you. So if you, at the end of the day, haven't learned your lesson, or, you can't fool God, basically. So, like, I personally believe that karma always returns to its original source. You can either pay for it now, or you can pay for it later, basically. Like, whether it's in the next lifetime, or, whether it's in the next lifetime or at the end of your days. I've personally known people that have done some horrible things in their lives. One person in particular, which I've forgiven, but he sexually abused me. And at the end of his life, he died the way he died was not peaceful. He didn't have a very good time when he died. And he got very sick, and it was not easy. It was not an easy transition for him. He suffered a lot before he died. So I personally believe that someday you're gonna pay for it, basically. So you can outrun it, you can do whatever you want to it, but eventually it'll circle right back, and it goes right back to its original source. So if you're, like, offloading your karma or getting somebody else to take care of it for you, you're still gonna have to pay that karma, because there's karma for you putting it onto somebody else. There's karma there too that you accumulate too, because you're not doing your job, basically. So, because there's lessons that you need to learn personally from that experience. So that's what I believe about karma. So, you know what I mean? Like, it always circles back. So, that's what I believe about karma. I do believe in hell. I do believe in the concept of heaven and hell. I'm not a Christian, so I don't hold on to the Christian belief of that God, that hell is eternal, basically. And it's a place of, like, torture and eternal, and it's eternal, basically. Like, you can't, like, you're gonna be there for an eternity. I personally don't believe in that. I believe that it's temporary, and it is not a fun place to be in. Like, you don't go there and have a good time. Like, it's not a fun place to be in, but you go there, and there's Bible verses to support this. You go there to pay off your karma, or or to learn lessons that you've done to other people in your life, basically. And you go there to burn off all your karma, and then when you're done with that, then you move on to wherever you're supposed to go, basically. And I personally believe that that's heaven. So I personally believe that at the end of the day, that all souls, no matter what they've done in their lives, no matter what kind of life they've lived, that they eventually will find peace. That's my personal belief about it. I believe that all souls will eventually find peace, basically. So I don't believe that hell is an eternal. That's a Christian concept. Jewish people don't believe in that. And that, from what I've done research on and from knowing Jewish people that I've talked to, they don't believe in the Christian concept of hell, because they personally don't feel like it aligns with the God's character, basically, and the way God portrays himself in the Bible. So I personally believe more along those lines, basically. I don't believe that in the Christian concept of, like, well, that's it, you're going to hell and you're going to be there forever and you're going to get tortured and blah blah blah. I don't personally believe in that. So but with that being said, I also believe that God is not he's not an all good God, basically. I personally, that's another Christian concept that I don't personally believe in. I think that God has a dark side, and that God is a God of justice, and he has a dark side, and I don't, because all you have to do is read the Old Testament. Like, God definitely has a dark side. And like, the killing of innocent people, like the genocide that happened, the fact that he wanted to kill all the Israelites and Moses had to step in and get God to, like, not consider that. The flood example. So I personally believe that God is not an all good God, basically. And there's a verse in Isaiah that I can't remember right now off the top of my head, but there's a verse in Isaiah that specifically states that God creates evil. So that's why there's a lot of suffering in the world, and there's a lot of shit happens, basically. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of suffering and unfair things happen because God's not an all good God. The concept of God being all good, and, you know, we live in a fallen world, and that's a Christian thing that I personally don't believe in. I don't believe in that. I strongly believe that all souls, no matter what they've done, like, for example, like, somebody that does a heinous crime, like like the person that sexually abused me growing up, I don't hate that person, and I think that he may or may not have gone to hell. I don't know, but I don't think that he's there now. And I think that eventually he will find peace, basically. And I wish that for him, to find peace. So he doesn't have to pay. Because you know, like, there's, like, that's what I believe in, basically. Like, I wish that for that person that sexually abused me. So, you know. So, I believe in the Bible. It's got a lot of historical references in it. Like, it's very historical. and it's very like, but you have to read it with a grain of salt because it's been written by man, and it's been translated so many times. Like, it's not like the original Bible was in Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic. So it's been translated a whole bunch of different times, and like, I know from personal experience by reading the Bible and just living my life and going through certain experiences, that I know that the Bible is not true, and you have to take it with a grain of salt, basically. And I've met nuns that believe in that, through, because I used to be Catholic and I was taught by a nun at my church that believes that the Bible is not necessarily like, you can't read it like literally. Like, there's she believed that there was a lot of metaphors and like stuff like that inside the Bible. So I personally, like, I've gone through experiences in my life where I put all my trust into God and read my Bible and expected it and believed it was true, and things did not turn out. Things didn't, like, for example, I get hit with a lot of spiritual warfare, and so I read the Bible, and it says that if you trust God and believe in His Word, and like, in the Psalms it talks about that, if you trust God with your whole heart and trust in His Word, and this happened even when I was straight and narrow and not believing in what I believe in, because there was a time in my life where I was going to church and I was straight and narrow, and during that time and then during the times where I wasn't believing in the Christianity, but still believing in Jesus, God never protected me from certain spiritual things that happened to me, and He continues not to protect me. So, because stuff happens to me. So, that I know written in the Bible about God's protection, about, trusting in the Lord and doing, like, that's not true. That I know is not true. I know that from experience, basically. So, and what else do I believe in? I think that's it that I believe in, basically. And, yeah, so I'm sorry that if I misled people, or like, I just had like a different, like, things, like, I've had a change of heart with a lot of things, and it's like, I've tried to hold on and hang in there and try to hold on, and it gets to the point where it's like, I've had enough. I'm done, basically. And reality smacks you in the face, and you realize that, like, you can't hold on to certain beliefs anymore, because you just know too much, basically. You've lived your life, and you have, like, my belief in God comes from spending time with God, reading the Bible, and experience, basically. And I go a lot of what I experience, basically, and what's true and what's not. So that's, but I'm not a Christian. So I just wanted to clarify that I'm not Christian. So, so I've been church hurt. I've, I've gone down that road, basically, with church and dealing with people, and like, so, I've done it before. So, so, but I don't consider myself a Christian. I believe in Jesus. believe that he was a historical figure. I believe in him. And I believe in his divinity, but I'm not a Christian. I don't follow Christianity. So, so I have my own set of beliefs when it comes to that. So, I don't know. But I think that's it that I wanted to talk about. So, and it's almost like 20 minutes, so. But, yep, I just thought I'd come on here and talk to you guys about that, and so, yep, love you guys. Pray for me and I'll pray for you. Bye.